How's it going, everybody? We've had a lot of new updates and announcements recently, mainly from the Game Awards, like from a new Okami 2 sequel in the works. We got Witcher 4 officially getting its first trailer. Cinematic, but we already know Witcher 4 has been in the works. Technically, it's just in full production now. It's going to be several years away. Okami 2, I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing, several years away. And a bunch of other games too. But in this video, I want to actually focus on Crimson Desert because we now got like a release window, bit of updates on that from the gameplay and things. This game originally was announced all the way back in 2019. And so from that announcement, it's going to be coming out in 2025. I imagine late 2025, like the second half sometime. So that's going to be like roughly a 6-year time frame between its announcement to its release. And yeah, I think the game's actually been in development even before its actual announcement trailer back in 2019. So this game's probably been in development for about a decade. This is coming from Pearl Abyss as well, the same devs of Black Desert Online. And this new open world action adventure game from Pearl Abyss promises to take us on a sprawling journey in an epic fantasy world as we follow the story of protagonist Cliff. So this seems to be very narrative, story focused, definitely my type of game, RPG. Love this type of style as long as it's done well. And we've had various teasers and gameplay footage already showcased on YouTube prior to the Game Awards, throughout the years, different things from like boss fights, etc., to give us tidbits on what this game is going to look like and play like. And aside from boss fights, we're going to get stuck into all manner of side activities in the world, such as fishing, cooking, and more in the medieval continent of Pywell. And originally, Crimson Desert was supposed to be set for a release of Q2 2024, but it's going to be coming out late 2025 instead. And this is not an MMO like Black Desert Online. This is actually a single player game. I think at one point it was going to be another MMO from Pro Abyss, but they shifted gears and changed it to being single player with all they're trying to do in here. Crimson Desert will also be available to play on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S once it releases. And this is always good news when you got a game that releases on all these platforms simultaneously instead of it being like tied to a time exclusive on one of these platforms. There's still the possibility that this could be available on Game Pass since its predecessor Black Desert Online was on Game Pass until August 2023, but no word yet on that. Crimson Desert was originally set to be a prequel to Black Desert Online as well. During its development, Pearl Abyss decided to make the game its own story set in the same universe as Black Desert instead. As I mentioned before, this game is set on the continent of, well, but takes place in the same high fantasy world that Black Desert Online fans are familiar with. Pywell is a vast but divided continent that you'll have to travel as you take on the role of the mercenary Cliff Madduff. The main story of the game revolves around various power struggles after the king of Dominus, unifier of the lands, falls into a coma. With the king's absence, there's a power vacuum that tons of enemies are keen to take advantage of and are willing to take you down in the process. So as the main character, you'll be forced to rise into a leadership role as he forms a group of mercenaries to keep opportunistic villains in check. Along with forming a group of allies, you'll have to fight for survival and face the demons from your past too. We also know that Crimson Desert's setting includes some mythical beasts and tons of different environments to encounter and explore as you make your way through the war-torn continent of Pywell. According to Pearl Abyss' website, the new game will also take notes from all the best RPGs that came before it by letting your choices and actions as a player affect the world around you and the overall story of Crimson Desert itself. The mercenaries that you may meet on your adventure all have their own unique backstories too, promising tons of stories to enjoy in between various battles with enemies. There also seems to be heavy emphasis on combat in Crimson Desert, intense boss battles similar to the likes of those in Dragon's Dogma 2, and it's also said to include one-on-one duels. Pro Abyss has also promised players a new generation of weapons to accompany classic ones, along with the feature of alchemy that you can use to give your weapons special abilities. It's also very exciting, and before you ask, yes, you can also take down enemies while on horseback. Besides like side activities from like cooking to fishing and rock climbing you can also expect to come across some puzzles to solve. So you might be wondering, well, can you pre-order Crimson Desert? As of right now, currently you cannot pre-order Crimson Desert on any platform, but wishlists are now live across PC and consoles. So just keep it wish listed, keep an eye out. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for this and trying to stay up to date with this and give you guys more updates on this as I find out. Because this is definitely one of the RPGs that I'm looking forward to playing in 2025. Not necessarily my most anticipated. That goes to Monster Hunter Wilds, as that game is just looking phenomenal. But this game is also looking very good in its own right. I just hope that the PS5 and PCs can handle it for what it's trying to do, with this being an somewhat ambitious single player open world action RPG. But what do you think about this, guys? Let me know in the comments below. If you're excited about this game, do you not care about it? Did you just now find out about it with my video? Love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and insightful and learned something, well, please hit that like, subscribe if you're new. And that's going to be all for me in this video, guys. My name is Mike, and I'll see you in the next one.